But there's nothing funny about the way some large factory farms operate. Advocates of ethical eating protest the way animals are often kept in crowded, unsanitary conditions and injected with growth hormones and antibiotics. Norman Wurzba is professor of theology, ecology, and rural life at Duke University.
Cattle are meant to eat grass, to live in pasture. Chickens are meant to roam and be outside. And when you think about how industrial eating practices, right, stifle that inner drive, this natural drive that these animals have, it's a violation of their ability to be what they are.
Another frequent criticism of the food industry is the widespread use of preservatives and artificial flavoring to prolong shelf life.
Now, that's not to say we don't do any processing, right, or any refrigeration or any preserving. No, we have to do some of that, but we don't need to do it to the degree that we do, because as we do more of it, what we're discovering is that we are paying for it with our own illness.
Ethical eating means looking at food as more than a commodity, and eating is not merely a biological function. Eating, it is said, connects us with the deeply mysterious and miraculous character of life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This one is a little larger than this one, so you can see.
Many Americans are getting back to the garden. These students in Cedar Grove, North Carolina, brave intense summer heat as they learn to grow fruits and vegetables in a community garden.
You can just pull it right out and you just rinse them off and you can eat them.
Right here we have sweet potatoes that are doing fabulously, as you can tell.
Kate Forer, who manages the garden, is also an ordained minister.
Having the experience of planting a seed and having the faith that it'll grow into a plant that will eventually sustain me is a spiritual experience.
Small faith communities like this one are sprouting up all across the country to advance the cause of ethical eating, teaching more than just good gardening practices.
I also feel like we're teaching people how to cultivate peace in their communities just by working together.
Going to the garden is a part of a spiritual practice for me. I use that time to think about what I'm thankful for and to try to remember people in my past that I'm thankful for and my family that surrounds me now. It's just my daily meditation. I feel I'm in a place where things are really alive and growing. We're also busy with our adding extra hours to our fitness routine, adding an extra hour to our email, Twitter, and Facebook, whatever. But maybe we need really to sometimes add that extra hour to what we're ingesting, what we're feeding ourselves.
What about the person who says, I'm busy, I don't have time to worry about where my food comes from?
I think we need to make food a priority because food touches so much. It touches personal health. It touches education, the social development of people, right, as well as touching economic issues and ecological issues. So food needs to be a priority. I know that there's a lot of concern about the fact that if you want to buy organic food, it's more expensive, or if you want to buy locally produced food, it's more expensive. But we have to ask the question, well, what do we really value? Right? Do we value healthy land, clean water?
It takes us back to the point that this really isn't just a big symbolical ritual. It's also a meal that feeds both the body and the spirit.
It's good to see everybody here.
In most of the world's religions, eating traditionally involved a blessing and an expression of thanks, a practice Forer and others say has become all but lost in our mass production, fast food culture.
Saying grace, besides being a sort of ritual act, I think is also a political act. Because if you're truly saying grace and you're remembering this food that you're about to eat, you should also be committing yourself to the well-being of the sources of that food.
I remember my mother sitting in front of a perfectly ripened peach. Maybe we had peach trees, the first ones that we had, and saying, I'm going to eat this very slowly. Just think how long it took to grow.
Advocates of ethical eating say if we pay more attention to where our food comes from, we will begin to see it not as something that just happens, but as a gift.